So up next, 182, game day favorite, Jackson Harshberger, 31-4, the number 1 seed from Waterford, and the number 2 seed at 29-4, Mason McMahon of NFA. Harshberger, a junior, McMahon, a senior. And once again, we want to say thank you. Right now at Camp Pendleton, Connor McMahon watching us live, watching his brother Mason at 182. And we always appreciate when we get shout-outs, especially to those serving in the armed forces. Thank you very much for all of you at Camp Pendleton. Last year, of course, Harshberger lost to the tournament wrestler extraordinaire, Jacob Commander of New London.
Now, I hate to correct you, but I believe that was his older brother with the red hair. There's the other Harshberger, no? I believe I stand corrected.
I've learned that when Peter Wappy talks in my ear, I just go with it.
Oh, I thought that was God talking to me.
Well, in many ways it is. And we have an early referee's timeout here as Harshberger has a bloody finger. And that looks ugly. But we move on. We're going to tape that up. Tape it up and play, right? Put a little
dirt on it and go out there.
Absolutely. He's white. I'm not sure if I'd wipe. He got a bloody nose and a bloody, or is that the bloody nose? The bloody finger was because he wiped his bloody nose.
He might have picked his nose
with the finger. That's what happened. He wiped the bloody nose. So our second bloody nose of the day, Jackson Harshberger, the number 1 seed, the junior from New London. He was an ECC runner-up last year to Jacob Commander. And you know how I know that? Because it says right there, ECC runner-up to Jason.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Peter Wappy, as always, you've got the right stuff. Now, you do know your Harshbergers. That is correct, with a side of fries, sweet potato fries. Now, Jackson Harshberger is a game day favorite. We love Jackson Harshberger. But when I get handed a note saying that his brother is watching from Camp Pendleton while serving in the U.S. Marine Corps, I know, I got to be honest with you, Mason McMahon becomes kind of a sentimental favorite right now. So I guess what I'm saying is no matter who wins this match, I'll feel pretty good about it.
There you go.
Very evenly matched physically. They look very similar in their physical appearance. Like we saw Powers, I mean, he just looks like a beast.
Yeah, you look at those last kids, these guys got a little bit more body fat on them, but they're definitely got some muscle under there.
Well, you talk about body fat. When we get up to the biggest of the day, when we get up to 285, you think you're going to see someone with a little body fat on it? Not in that one, because Keanu Gonzalez from New London is a linebacker and doesn't have an ounce of body fat on him. It looks, as a matter of fact, it looks like someone built him out of concrete. Wrestler at 285. Harshberger has the leg, trying to drive him. And the trip, and can he get around?
Ooh.
And he does get around. Will they give him the 2? He's not out yet.
They gave it to him.
There it is, 2-0. Now can he keep him in? We're down to under 10 seconds remaining. Riding him out here, 5 seconds remaining. They're going to head to the end of the period here, 2-0. 2-0 Harshberger over McMahon here with second period action coming your way. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with CJ Saddy, and hovering somewhere Matt's side, of course, the sports doctor Keith O'Brien, as we bring you the ECC Wrestling Championships 2020 here from Fitch High School. Harshberger had the bloody nose, so they're going to work on that between periods. And McMahon's been working on his shoulder. It looks like he's had a little bit of shoulder issue. They've been spraying him, and it's back. Looks like maybe the tricep. They're working the blood off of his body. But he's been shaking his arm out. He did that prior. I don't know if maybe that was where he had the blood and he was just indicating that, but he's been shaking. He's just getting the blood cleaned off him. That's another thing that doesn't happen in any other sport. In no other sport does the opponent have to go over and say, I need blood wiped off of me. Harshberger will be on top.
Maybe in MMA.
Yeah,
but that's
we have not yet brought you the MMA championships.
This is a step down. Wow, he stayed on him, not giving up points. Harshberger's still in control here.
He's got the leg.
He's going to finish out of.
Oh, there it is.
Wow, that was big. Big toss. Yeah, they say there's another saying. You know, they say a boxer punch you with his fist, but a wrestler will hit you with the earth.
Oh, I like that. And that's certainly true.
Pick you up, throw you against the earth. It's going to hurt.
I was talking about both Johnny Green and Lee Elsey earlier, and then one of my favorite stories. Johnny Green was a two-time state wrestler, you know, from New London, and Lee Elsey was a football player and baseball player who wrestled because it was going to keep him in shape. And they wrestled against each other one time, and they were good friends from playing baseball against each other. And Johnny told him he'd make him look good for about half a period. So Johnny kind of toyed with him for about a half a period, and then said to him, "All right, you ready?" And Lee said, "What?" And he goes, next thing you know, he was looking at the ceiling, and Johnny had him on his back, just power slammed him, you know, to the mat, knocked all the air out of him, pinned him.
And from what I understand, Johnny Green was a big, mean green machine.
He was a three-sport superstar. Football player, baseball player, wrestler, was good at everything. If you know who the baseball player Kirby Puckett is, was the Minnesota Twins. That's what Johnny was built like. He was built like Kirby Puckett, and he could do anything. And Lee Elsey's not a bad athlete himself, but it's funny because, you know, there are kids who wrestle, you know, but they play other sports, and then there are the wrestlers. You know, people whose wrestling is their sport, their family thing. That's what they do. And I'll tell you, the wrestling families are fabulous. I love some of these families who spend their, you know, traveling around tournament to tournament.
Yeah, spend their lives.
Wrestling families are fun.
So a lot of these kids that you're seeing out here have come up through the youth programs, you know. It's not easy to just pick the sport up in high school. You know, there are the kids, especially these upper weight classes. You see the guys, the football players, and the just big, strong, athletic kids who can come out and learn the sport. But those lighter weights, man, those technicians, that's why those Killing the guys, man, very, very technical, winning a lot of lightweight matches.
2-0 Harshberger as we head into the third period. He'll be down on bottom and McMahon up on top. I wrestled for 4 days.
Yeah, how'd that last?
Well, my freshman year, Fran DePeter from New London said, "Why don't you come out for wrestling? It'd be really good, keep you in shape for baseball." I said, "Sure." First day, I went down into the bowels of New London High School, down into the locker room. It was 207 degrees, and I threw up 35 minutes into practice. And I came back the second day and got dropped on my shoulder, and it popped out of the socket. And I came back the third day, and he said, "Today we're going to run bleachers." And on day 4, I said, I think I can go to New England Health and Racket to stay in shape for baseball.
I'm going to take up fencing.
Yeah, there's a whole different. I'll stay in shape for baseball a different way. And that is a true story. 2-0 Harshberger. McMahon on top right now, and Harshberger needs to, with 135, he can get out. That would be an enormous point here because McMahon is just trying to find a way to work him over here. And there it is. McMahon's got a chance. He just spun him, just had a chance to get him over on his back, but couldn't quite get him there. Minute 15 remaining here. Almost has him. It's twice now McMahon has come very close to getting Harshberger onto his back. Under a minute.
These guys are tired.
Yeah, they're worn out.
Minute left. They're thinking about hitting Harshberger for stalling if he keeps laying there.
I can't blame him, especially with a 2-0 lead. You got to help McMahon out. Now is a chance.
Yeah, make it a 4-point lead. No, 3-point lead.
He went for the reversal. McMahon let him go to make it 3-0 here. 30 seconds remaining. McMahon's going to need a takedown and get him on his back. What do we got here? Another stoppage?
Yeah, they're coming here to get this blood cleaned up.
Which I got to think is a big advantage for Harshberger. because he was, you got 23 seconds, give you that last little bit of, get a little wind in you before you head back out. They'll wipe the mat.
People always say that, but for me is they're both getting the same amount of time to catch their wind, right? That's a common thought, though. People are like, oh, maybe this guy, but they both have the same amount of rest time. They're both
right, but he's got the 3-0 lead. So now he has to ride 23 seconds out, and he's got a minute of rest in order to recompose himself.
But he also has a minute.
Right, but he's down 3-0. He's down 3-0. So
true.
we know what he needs to do. He needs to get a takedown, and he needs to get him over onto his back. So now Harshberger's got a minute of rest, and he knows all he needs is 23 seconds to avoid it. I think it's the advantage goes to the guy who's got the lead in that situation, unless it was a 1 point kind of a thing. So I think Harshberger benefits from that. McMahon's got to try to do something, pull a rabbit here with 10 seconds.
Hey, there's a rabbit. Can he? Wow. 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 That's 2 and backs. That's the match. He just pulled the rabbit.
With 10 seconds remaining, what are they giving him?
They're giving backs. They have to. He just pulled. The NFA kid. No, the NFA kid just pulled it. He pulled it off.
What's it? What's the points there? What do you got to see?
I'm telling you, it's NFA.
I don't think so.
Oh,
no.
Wow.
They
wow.
gave him the 3-2 Harshberger.
I'm going to have to see a replay on that.
The rabbit poked his head out, but didn't come all the way out. 3-2 Harshberger.
Wow, I'm a little surprised there. We don't have an instant replay button here.
You'll be able to see we'll be able to check it out tomorrow. We'll find out what you think.
That's the beauty of this live stream.
Sports Doctor.
He's all smiles. Jackson Harshberger avenged last year's loss with a huge win today. Talk about the match down the stretch, will you?
It was close at the end. I was trying not to tie up, and he just overpowered me.
All that work, all during the offseason to think about it to get to this point, though. Talk about that real quick, Jackson.
Really, to get to this point is everyone that helps me in practice and pushes me.
Right.
Like Nolda, he pushes me every day, makes sure I'm running as hard as I can and drilling as best as I can.
Bloody nose ain't going to stop you out there, is it, son?
Never.
No, it's pretty stuff, Casey.